Oh, how are you?
Hello,
Can you hear me?
everyone.
Hello, Cyprian. It seems like it's
Hello.
been forever.
Yeah,
I know. I have to like go back to my spam folder how many times, and then I finally got a hold of it. So it should have been into my regular mail.
Oh, well, you're
But
here
here we
now.
are.
That's the important thing. But I was just saying, thinking, we didn't get together at all last month because of scheduling and everything. But here we are. Happy New Year. I know, although January is almost over, I'm pulling a card. And the card that I'm pulling for tonight is strength.
Ooh, good.
So,
Excellent.
and also, I got this Moonology calendar, so I want to begin by reading this, and then I'm going to turn over to you, Kathira. And the moon is in Virgo right now,
Mhm.
and love is in the air right now as the moon moves through gentle Virgo and creates a harmonious angle with Venus. Why not write a love note to someone as an early Valentine's Day declaration? And I love you all, so this works out.
Yes. Yeah. What do they do? Like the hearts and
Yes, here we all are. Here we are. But I'm so thrilled to be back, and and in the scheme of things, I just to let everyone know, the Algonquin Indians named this the Wolf Moon because they said it was at this time of year that the wolves were howling at the moon. But according to Smithsonian, that's a fallacy because the moons. I mean, wolves don't really howl at the moon. They howl during mating season.
right.
So, very interesting thing to know.
Yeah.
So, we can interpret that any way we want. Kasira, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you speak for a few moments about what this full moon means to you.
Well, actually, it's also called the spirit moon or the old moon.
Mm.
In the winter, which I'm sure that our Californians here would disagree with me that it's winter because it's 90 degrees in LA today.
Yeah.
However, in the winter, wolves tend to howl for two reasons. It's winter, and a lot of wolves live in snowy regions, in mountains and hills and such, and they howl for many reasons. They howl when they're hungry to let their pack know they're hungry. Wolves will also howl if they find prey so that everybody else knows about it. But they also howl to reconnect with each other because sometimes they get separated. And so somebody from, one of the wolves or the pack will howl so they can find each other. So this particular moon is about connecting with our pack.
Mm.
It's or reconnecting with our pack. Like we're a pack.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I like it, the pack to collective consciousness. So it's reconnecting with those closest to us who are part of our collective consciousness, who we also have really good karmic soul contracts with. And it's also a time for deep reflection. It's a time for us to build up endurance for when it gets warmer. And reflecting, when we're talking about our pack and we're talking about our people, reflecting on those people, looking at each of them, are they truly a member of our pack? Are they not? And we're just holding on, really looking at the relationship to see whether or not they're positive or negative, reflecting on our pack and reflecting on ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And also, since this is also a time still for a lot of animals in the animal kingdom, it's still a time of hibernation. So we get to hibernate a little bit longer and we get to contemplate. So it gives us really a great opportunity for that self-reflection, for digging deeper, for making new plans, for starting to think about what am I going to do when it gets warmer? Where am I going? What am I doing?
Mhm.
And I tend to do that even before I really dive into the next full moon and what it's about. I find that I'm already starting on whatever journey the moon's guiding me to do. So I'm doing that as well.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned reflection because as we go towards the end of this week or next week, it's Groundhog's Day. And I just saw recently that animal rights advocates are trying to get them to stop using the groundhog, and instead
Hmm.
they're going to flip a coin. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work.
Sorry, did I roll my eyes? I'm sorry.
Well, I guess it's better than flipping the groundhog.
Yes, yes. So when I heard that on the news the other day, I said, "How does that work?"
I don't know. I'm all about animal rights, and I have dogs, I have pets. I don't understand why. I'm not sure about that. I didn't know about that. I'm not sure how they're harming the groundhog when they put
I know, I know, I
them
know.
there. I don't know.
Yes.
Um, so we can talk about later what we're reflecting on and about our packs, but basically that's what this full moon means. It's the deep reflection and connecting with our pack.
Exactly.
There we go.
And Cyprian, what are your thoughts about this particular full moon and how has, I mean, actually the moon is waning now because it's a couple of days since the full moon. But did you notice any changes within yourself with this full moon?
Oh, I definitely did. Me being a night owl, I experienced a circadian rhythm shift, so it got me to make commitments to be more at the studio I practice at. To I have to wake up in the morning, attend the yoga class because it would be like you're really during this fixed fire energy too. But what I also noticed is people's lives unfolding around me to the point where one had to get evicted from the house that he was renting from for years. So it's in this mode where I got to find a new place, even though he had a new place in mind for the summer, which is still being renovated, so he can't move in there. And there's been car accidents, cars being on fire on the freeways, and sirens coming out and about fire trucks. So passion, it's it gets really really hot, and after this following this full moon when it first went into Leo, the weather started getting a bit warmer. It's like the full moon was more of a new beginning, and some full moons can feel like that too. So
Hmm.
I feel like a release of stagnancy, and I feel more so of an energy to not just take action though, but be in that spotlight and not be afraid to be seen. So
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Aaron,
that's
Yeah,
my
exactly. Oh.
personal
good.
theme of flowing.
Yeah, this full moon was very powerful and visceral. There were many things that were going on that seemed um, well. Here's the funny thing was, of course, we're talking about the a sign that's ruled by the sun, where the sun is really, it's all about me, the sun, the primary, and I kind of saw that a lot in myself personally. Things that I had to do that maybe I thought about, oh, I'm going to put that off a little bit. Suddenly I had to do it. I guess much like Cyprian was saying, his friend was evicted. Maybe the higher self said, let's get you out of there right now to get you moving. It, a lot of things felt like that have been pushing me personally forward into. Actually, it's been going on for the whole month, but it came to a culmination during this moon. And it's funny because, well, interesting because it's kind of washing it. Not only was there a push into pushing away from something that was, agreed upon, that wasn't really needed or working, but also into greater things, into greater, brand new, surprising possibilities. That's one thing I kept finding, where surprising possibilities kept emerging, and I'm always love listening to different podcasts where of people that I've never heard before, so I can learn a little something new, a little, there's always a little jewel in each one, and there were so many this time around. I was like, wow, this is really weird. Each and every one, I'm scrambling to find something to write on so I can either take down a technique or remind myself to re-listen. A whole bunch of, like Cyprian was saying, new information. It's not new, it's just new to me. Was shining a light on I'll say my ignorance. There's some things that I thought, wow, I maybe misunderstood a few concepts. One was about, and I don't think I misunderstood completely. I'll say that maybe I just I dismissed the validity or the, and I know I'm kind of being vague and very Aquarian here, and not getting specifics, but
Aaron, are you an Aquarian?
moon, my Aquarius moon.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's that. Yep, Aquarius moon in the house, yo.
All of you, except for me.
Right. So we're, I did pull a card. I pulled a pyrite card. From my crystal deck here, and I pulled a pyrite. I don't think I've ever pulled a pyrite before.
Wow, a beautiful card.
Yeah, it's really stunning, and it chimes in with what you and Kasira were saying, and I'm always so thrilled when our unique perspectives come together in this moment. This one is all about emotional balance, psychological strength, relationships, and protection. Okay, so I'm just going to read this real quick. You may be feeling emotionally unbalanced at present because you have allowed yourself to, at least partially. You believe that another's critical judgment of you may be valid. This malicious criticism was directed at you by someone who falsely believes that they will gain something from belittling you. Of course, we always know that when something's coming at us, it's coming from a particular perspective, but there's always something in it for us, and if we can set aside a particular reaction and, not let the button get pushed, we can generally see the light behind it, the real message behind it. And this is what we're moving into. This is this is how we fortify our strength, is allow the messages to come through, filter out what's not, what may be a little unbalanced, and find that little bit of glimmer, that, because sometimes just balance is so, if you're balancing, if you've ever danced or anything like that, you have to balance. There's a delicate line that you balance on to bring yourself into this, but you have to become completely and totally aware of everything.
Mm-hmm.
It says to regain the mental strength and emotional balance, you must release that this whole episode is simply emotional blackmail. Okay. Wow, that's a tough card there.
No, is that emotional blackmail that's coming from within yourself, or that is coming, or you feel is a reflection of the person that, as you just put it, belittled you or criticized you or something? Where do you feel that that's coming from?
I always say the external is a reflection of the internal. So perhaps I might be sending out a signal that I need some stronger input in order to get something done. So the perception of emotional blackmail may be something I'm doing to myself. However, it could be from the other person too, and that's where the balance comes in. Knowing how to, they may just be a messenger, and sometimes they may be an unconscious messenger. I have found today in particular that if I am a conscious messenger and something comes at me, I can reflect back as a, with a little humor, with a little lightness, with a little something, and typically it washes the other away, because then it wakes the other person
Absolutely.
up. I just, if somebody is interrupting me, then or disturbing my flow for whatever reason, I'll just say, thank you for bringing that to my attention.
But Aaron, don't you feel that that has a lot to do with your, number one, being grounded and knowing where you are, and then when those situations come up, that you are actually acting upon them instead of reacting upon them? because a reaction sometimes, I think, is when we haven't really thought through the process of where we are. Very few of us take the time to step back for a second and say, okay, this is where I am. I mean, just recently, um, there was an there was an email thread that was going out for a recent show that I just did,
Mhm.
and there was a newsletter that went out that was local to the community. Then our church sent something out, and then I sent something out. And one of the women that was on our church thread wrote to me, and I feel like I'm being inundated with information about your show. I need to be taken off of one of these platforms. And I said, well, please understand that they're coming from three different sources.
Yeah.
And, it's like seeing an advertising for a product on several different stations. So we either choose to buy or we choose not to buy. And I don't think that anyone's intention was to inundate you with emails about my show. And I'm sorry that you feel that you got so many emails on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens a lot, especially with the electronic world, where trying to reach out to friends and maybe somebody is omitted from a thread and we don't know it, or maybe somebody's over overstimulated. And a lot of this has to do with um, the past few weeks. The astrologies have been overwhelming for a lot of people. And maybe Cyprian can talk to it because that's his day job. So um, the we're moving into this next week. Will be a lot of trines in the sky, meaning favorable aspects, ease. We do want to caution against saying everybody's going to have it easy, because that's not necessarily the case. It depends on each individual's life path, each individual's astrology chart, and each individual's perspective on their own life. They may have set some really negative things into motion, and suddenly they're gonna flow more quickly. So, that's one thing we want to be aware of. And all this is about, grounding ourselves, becoming in the Leo words of a Leo, I know who I am. This is who I am.
Mhm.
And owning that, for all the pimples and zits and all the blemishes and everything else that comes together that makes us the beautiful being that we are. I am here, and we can move into an Aquarian age more with more ease if we understand our own shape. I keep getting the picture of a puzzle, giant, like 1,000-piece puzzle. None of the shapes are the same. They're all very important. Each and every one is important to the picture. And, they're not all perfect squares, or, that would be a really boring puzzle. Once we know who we are, I'm the puzzle that's shaped like this, and I know that I'm part of this tapestry. Then when the whole thing fits together, we're snug as a bug. Those puzzles are really neat because once you get them all locked in, you can slide it around and it's one unit. But each individual piece is unique and special and handcrafted in some cases. And if we look at ourselves that way, we can say, I am the handcrafted piece of, the puzzle piece that I am. That's not to say we don't evolve and change, but what it's saying is I recognize that I'm here and I'm important. So important for us to, all every now and then throughout the day, throughout every hour, give ourselves a moment to say, I'm important. I'm where I'm supposed to be right now. And I have all the choices in the world. I have all the opportunities in the world right now to change my mind if I want to. I can change my mind, do something different. So
Change direction, change course,
yep.
change
Go
your
here.
clothes.
Change clothes. Yep. Change friends if we want. Change. Howl at the moon. Since we're talking about the,
Richard, piggybacking
Even
up,
if it's sudden, though, Aquarian. Hello.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say it's a fixed sign where like they do everything on their own. If it's hello. even if it's sudden, like everything on your own terms, like you get that free will to really, really make any decisions at any moments of like the day or the week. You know, as long as like you're just like living your energetic like truth inside, and every movement that we make though is just reaction, like, you know, to feed our free will, and to set that example for those who feel stagnant and stuck, and like who feel like you know, critical situations they feel that they can't get out of too, you know. So
Yeah.
Posted. I had a Facebook memory pop up today
But-
of something I wrote and posted in the past, and the what I wrote was how others act is their karma, is how they create their karma. How we react creates ours.
That's true.
So, and one of the vows I made to myself for this year and going forward is I'm no longer going to be involved in other people's mess. I'm not going to do it anymore.
Drama.
We know a lot of people that lure us in, you know, we get lured in and we hear the story and we want to be, I want to be involved. I want to help them fix it. I'm not doing that this year. I'm not doing that anymore. Because it's, you know, I keep saying, not my circus, not my monkey, not my circus, not my monkey.
Right.
Sometimes it is my circus, yet it's not my monkey.
But the thing is that we all have a choice. We can either be the star of our own show, or we can be a co-star in someone else's show. And I, quite frankly, want to be the star of my own show.
Well,
and you know,
I would even say that we are always the star of our show. It's just how interesting is our performance, you know. Am I going to be the star of the show and then just kind of like, oh, I'm just going to try to scoot down into the corner over here? You know, all eyes are on us.
Mm-hmm.
This is me in this show, you know, and it's reflected back to me by my audience or by you know, whatever's coming back to me, and we can use that. We simply must stand up and say, wait a minute, I am always the star of my show. Am I going to actually do this, or am I going to act like the cameras are not on me and try to flee from my own production? And it's impossible to flee from. We are here to be in our own show, and we are here to, you know.
There's a situation going on here in New York right now where the mayor of wanted to, because of, you know, a lot of, we know that a lot of cops are bad cops and they're good cops. We all know that. So they've come up with a program to give reporters, everyday average citizens, a chance to ride with a police officer in their car just to get the experience of what they go through. And just this weekend, someone put out a statement about how badly he was treated by the police officers when he was pulled over. The interesting thing, however, was that everything from the police officer getting out of his car, walking to the car, his exchange with the man, and eventually walking away was all on camera. Because he had a camera. And so it was a completely different story from what this guy had said had happened to him.
Yes.
And it's just, and you never know when the camera is going to be focused on you. Judy Garland once said that she found that every time she was looking through a keyhole at someone else, that there was inevitably someone looking back at her.
Yep.
that's I think we all watch each other.
Yes.
You know, I observe. I like to observe people.
I love to observe.
Interesting, you know, what they're wearing. I'm like, oh, I used to be so. We've talked about this before, Richard. I used to be so judgmental of what people wore and their hair and their jewelry, and now I look at people and I just think, oh, that's an interesting choice. I really changed my attitude about it, you know, and I really don't like when people make fun of other people on social.
I don't. No, that's a no. If anyone's watching, no.
It's really rude. It's really rude.
But
Um,
it
uh,
speaks more about the person doing the judging than it does about the person. The person who's being judged, in most cases, I believe, is living their authentic selves. If that's who they feel that they are, and they want to wear a certain, I mean, there are things that I wore when I was in my 20s that I'm not wearing now in my 60s.
Right.
But yeah, and although I can still fit into it, but I'm not going to wear them. You know, it's I feel that I'm a different person than I
I write,
was in
I
my
write
20s.
judgmentalism in my book, Let That Go, which I don't have in front of me. And I write that, you know, I've had there's one distinct conversation I remember when I wrote the book, and I knew people say to me, "Oh, I know somebody that can use that book." Some people say I can use that book. I've got to let go of stuff, and then but I talked with someone one, and I don't remember. I know I think it was a guy. It was a guy anyway. He said, "Oh, I have a friend who really needs that book because um, he's so judgmental and he really needs help with that." And I said, "Well, what does that make you? If you're judging how judgmental he is, what does that make you?"
I love you, Kasira.
It might you judge yourself?
Oh,
You know,
that's funny. That's funny that you say that.
and you know, I have people in my life sometimes that I'm concerned about, and I'll have a conversation with someone that's close to us about my concern, and the other person agrees that we have a reason to be concerned, but we don't. It's not a gossip session. Like we don't. We're genuinely concerned about this person because of some things that occurred or some choices they made that were not good. I mean, this turned out to be not good, or ongoing thing that's unhealthy. Yet we don't, we don't rake them over the coals. And I can I tell you about my plans for the next year?
Yes.
It's kind of on this thing. So when I was researching this moon and about us reconnecting with our pack, I thought, oh, I'm already doing that. So I'm going to be staying with a friend here, a dear, 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 longtime friend. I'm doing a show here in Dallas in April, Spectacular Follies. And until then, my friend has accumulated a lot of stuff and is paying for several storage rooms and not utilizing the stuff. And she has said, her exact words were, "I need help getting rid of stuff. This is ridiculous." And I said, okay. So you realize that even though you said that, when we get started and you decide you can't do it, it's fine. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to debate with you whether or not you must let stuff go. I'm just here to assist you. So, and I, interestingly, I'm going out on the road to see several people in my pack that I have not seen in person in a long time. And I'm reconnecting with my pack. So I'm going to New Mexico for a couple of weeks to help a friend let go of some stuff in her place. She's accumulated too much and it's driving her nuts. Then I'm going to Arizona to see another good longtime friend and her daughter. I'm going to help them clean, organize. I'm going to help them clean and organize for a while. I'm going to be with them. And then I'm going to Las Vegas to see another fabulous longtime friend and her husband that I haven't seen in person. I'm cooking for people as well because I love to cook. And most of my friends like my food. My biggest friend is a retired chef. She won't let me pour her a glass of orange juice. But everybody else is cleaning her kitchen, so that's not going to happen. And then I'm going to LA to spend a while with Aaron.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Not sure what he has to let go of. We haven't talked about it, and even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you. But uh, uh, that's going to be. He's a mate. He's like really high up on my pack totem pole. So we're going to do lots of fun spiritual things that I think we haven't talked about it, but Richard knows that I do want to do some quick live videos on where I am and what I'm doing, show people what I'm working with, and show them the end result. I'm going to see if I can talk Aaron into us doing some live videos and maybe a podcast on our spiritual adventures, because both adventure spiritually. Probably not during the actual spiritual practice. Not that it'll be weird or anything, but to protect other people's privacy. Yet,
Probably live, we might have to edit. Yeah.
So I'm definitely. It's something totally different. I'm bringing my little dogs with me. They just turned. One just turned 14, the white one, Lotus, and Saki, my black Chihuahua, turned 15 in March. So not really sure how long they'll be around. I don't know if they're going to survive the trip. We'll see. Yet I'm very excited to get out there, see some of my pack members, reconnect with them, and really assist them in their lives and have really meaningful conversations about their feelings. How are you acting on your feelings? How are you reacting? Do you think we can work on that? After the Southwest, when I finally make my way back to Texas, then I'm going to look at the East Coast. Not sure I'll drive to New York yet. I would like to come to New York. Richard, if you'd like for me to help you let go of something, I will. One of those things will be a fabulous print of Carol Channing in her red dress that you said you'd give me.
I'm giving it to you. I told you that already.
I'm going to have my own Carol Channing shrine. It's the 60th anniversary of Hello, Dolly, opening on Broadway. It opened in January in
1964.
When I was 2 years old. And of course, I did the show with her, Hello, Dolly, with her. And I also have some other friends in New York I'd really like to reconnect with and be with and converse with. And I have a couple of friends in Florida as well. Not sure about the rest of the United States, but I'm very excited about it. And that's, so when I read this, I read several spiritual guidances on this moon, but this particular one, connecting with your pack, it really, it's the loudest bell ring I've heard. So that's how I'm following this particular full moon.
It's very interesting because I've been reading a lot, and it goes, and I keep sending you articles where let that go or letting things go pop up. And last week, one of the things in the church that I go to, we have a very small congregation. So we're having many discussions on what is the church, what is our purpose, where we are, where we're moving forward. And last week I was invited to a deanery meeting, and it was this is an Episcopal church across the street, but it's other Episcopal churches in the county of Rockland County. And interestingly enough, we're all going through the same process. But what was wonderful was us coming together as a collective, and then going off into our little groups with our own church group, and then come back and having a bigger discussion with everyone. We were given certain questions and things to talk about. But one of the things came up, and there was a passage about how nothing is certain. Everything, there's an ebb and a flow to everything that we're going through. And then I was reading a couple of days ago, and it made me think for a moment. As logical as this is going to say out loud, it really got me. I went, wait a minute. And it's the fact that we collect things our whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
And please understand, everybody, look around your rooms right now. Everything that you see is going to belong to someone else at some time.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to be able to take it with us. And we, and this energy that we spend, and I do believe that a part of the great divide of this country right now are people feeling that someone else is going to get what is theirs. And
Right.
yet, these things that they're afraid that people are going to take away from them, I don't see them fighting for those jobs and those positions now anyway. It's just what has been fed into their consciousness about this feeling of lack and hopelessness. And I think it's a time for all of us to start thinking more in abundant terms, because all of us are more abundant than we even imagine that we are,
Yeah.
because it's all there. And what do
Right.
you need anyway? I mean, consider you've got your car, you've got your dogs, you've got your clothes, and more importantly, you've got your friends. And
Yeah.
those are the things that you don't want to let go of, that you want to travel around the country and wherever, I love the song "Any Place I Hang My Hat Is Home," and you're going to make that your mantra as you go through the year.
I pulled 4 cards for us.
Okay.
You guys can decide which is yours. And I pulled my she's not in the business anymore. Doreen Virtue. These are her mermaid cards. So it's funny you should say that, because here's one of the cards. Let yourself receive. There's 2 mermaids.
Okay.
You see them?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It says, allow others to give you loving care. Receive without guilt or apologies. I think I'm going to pick that one. That's my card. Okay.
Gotcha.
Here's another card. Dream big. And it says, and by the way, the flip side of the card are mermaids with a full moon. That's why I use it.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
So
Very
this says, let go of small thoughts about yourself. See yourself succeeding. You guys decide whose card that is.
I'm going to take all of them.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Here's the third card. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
A new dawn.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The worst is now behind you, and positive new experiences are on the horizon.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. The fourth card. Set your sights higher. We kind of touched on that today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Increase your standards and expect more for yourself. Don't settle. Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
That kind of applies to Aaron a little bit, because he just made a big change in.
Yeah. Sometimes we can, I'm going to back up. I like the last card for myself, because it, some of the messages I've been receiving, whether that's electronically or through memory, is remember that everything I've been through, everything I've experienced, everything, it leads to what we call a memory syndrome, where when I reflect back on something, I can only look at it through the way I drew the information in. Now, if I was in a bad mood and a great thing happened, then I may have dismissed it, whatever. If I was in a great mood and something small happened, then I might have gotten a lot more out of it than, I probably was able to glean more of the message than usual. I was listening partially to a podcast because I was in and out of the car today, and it's like, okay, on and off. What am I listening to? But these little tidbits of messages came through that says, reformulate my memory, reformulate the past, and look at it through different eyes. I get to look at everything through brand new different eyes right now, and I get to say, wait a minute, I got myself here somehow. I was able to take advantage of an impulse or an opportunity, or interact with somebody who in a way that allowed them to be more free with the creative flow that goes through them. And maybe I said hi, how are you, to or interacted with somebody in a friendly way one time, and now suddenly every time I see them, I only see the best in them, and they only see the best in me. And I witnessed that several times today. It was very interesting. And I thought to myself, wow, everybody's really friendly, and I'm kind of busy. I don't have time for this. Is what I was thinking. But I thought, wait a minute, I'm the one who planted those seeds. Now they're here. The trees are bearing fruit right in front of me. They're wanting to engage with me in this beneficial way. And so I'm going to stop for 2 seconds and engage with them in that beneficial way. And I'm going to expect more of myself, because now I can see that, this tree, this experience is bearing more fruit for me. If I water the tree, keep, all that kind of stuff, I can keep this flowing, this flow of energy flowing. We are in an abundant flow of energy at all times. Oh, we lost Cyprian. We're in an abundant flow all the time. Now it depends on how we want to direct that flow. If we want to try to pinch it off, or if we want to accept it in and say, I know exactly where this abundant flow can go. We can go. And since we're in Aquarius, we think of maybe community. We think of, the collective. We can let this flow go into the community. And in fact, one of my favorite astrologers over the weekend, he talked about a process of using prayer energy he used the word prayer. I'm just going to use that word for someone else. So Kasira knows this. She's a Reiki master. So when we direct the energy through us the light energy through us to someone else, it benefits us as well. It opens us up. It blesses us. It enlightens us. And he did a specific experiment with one of his practitioner friends, and they both had specific, which was really remarkable, specific tangible results that benefited them, and they shared those on their podcast. It's Thomas Miller, and he does Subconscious Mind Mastery. It's the podcast Subconscious Mind Mastery by Thomas Miller. And I was thrilled to hear that this weekend, because sometimes, we can get into our own little, full moon in Leo. Oh, I'm me, that means I'm all by myself. Well, no, we're part of a tapestry. And when I'm interacting and pulling through my energy, and listening perhaps to a friend, talk about something and saying, well, do you mind if I give you some energy right now? It would feel really good to me, because, we can do this for each other. And in fact, it's sort of our birthright to be able to do this for us, for our own communities. We can nourish each other, and support each other, and it benefits us. In our world now, when we talk about the 3D world, we typically think that in order for me to give to you, I have to empty my pockets. I have to empty my.
Oh.
And we in Los Angeles, we see this all over the place, where there are people on the roads, with their signs up, begging for money and whatnot. And sometimes the reaction is, don't just look the other way. And so I'm pinching myself off, and I always have to remind myself, wait a minute now, I'm the one pinching myself off right now. What can I do differently in this? I don't have to give them money. Maybe I don't have any change or anything, maybe they're not Venmoing on the street corner or whatever. But what in that moment, how can I, let this abundant, loving flow, and that's just a question I'm going to put out there. I don't really have the answer for it yet, but I'll just ask.
There's a flip side to that. When at the end of my shows, when I always tell people to go out and do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes, and again, I'm not judging. I'm not making a judgment call here, but sometimes somebody will see someone on the street and they will give them money or something, and then they rush to tell everybody on Facebook, guess what I just did?
Oh yeah, look at the nice thing I just did.
Yes. And are they looking for the pat on the back, for what they've done,
I don't know.
or because I love doing these random acts of kindness, where I mean, and there's a yeah, in Nyack, near where I live, there's a kiosk, like a book kiosk, but instead of leaving books, you leave food, um,
Mm.
items, feminine products, things that people need that they're not able to go out and afford on their own, and it's there. And the sign says, be respectful, take whatever you need, uh, no judgments, and yeah, and people drop stuff off. People get what they need. It's just an incredible thing that's going on.
Mm.
I'd like to hear from Cyprian on the astrological things going on right now, especially around the full moon.
Okay, I'll mention things for asking. Jupiter in Taurus was making that aspect to the full moon. So Taurus is stubborn, it's a fixed animal like Leo. But like the moon is actually exalted in Taurus, which means that it's comfortable in its natural state in that sign. So when it's in Jupiter, it will help us to break out of our stagnancy and expand
Mm.
what we need to release and take accountability, for things that we are responsible for as well. So that, and it's when people connect with that energy, sets them free too. And Saturn's in Pisces. Pisces is very compassionate. Saturn's a disciplinarian, and it's making that positive aspect to Jupiter. So there's always going to be alignment of spiritual perspectives in this day and time when it comes to this new beginning with the collective whole. But like everything that's like aligning though, and that's like happening for better or worse, it's just like a good point and points us to the proper direction that 2 weeks from now, the new moon will be in Aquarius. Leo and Aquarius are opposite signs. Leo is about the ego, the individual, the spotlight. But then the lesson right now is like, since it's in the full moon of releasing and letting go of our ego when we need to let go of it. It doesn't mean
Oh,
Uh-oh, we lost you.
say that part again. That was the best part. Say it again.
I know. I was
No,
Oh, no.
just weird.
and my show is 2 weeks from tonight. So
Yes.
I love the fact that he said that.
Yeah.
And I'm an
Wow.
Aquarius.
Wow.
It's happening on my birthday. So yeah. So Erin, you said that you saw something in my chart. What did you see?
Oh, well, this is over the past few weeks. I wish I would have taken my notes on that. I kind of popped that in, but there was a particular. Let's see here. Let me see if I can go back in time a little bit, because I was. Well, let's see what's going on right now. There are some really nice aspects for you, and especially you have beautiful stuff happening around home. Right now, your home is your everything, and this isn't just saying this your home, but the place that you inhabit, okay, is at the foremost of your chart. It's at the we have Vesta, which is the hearth. Home and hearth is conjunct your midheaven. Do I have that right? Oh, wait a minute. Let me switch this around real quick. It's still conjunct, but I just want to make sure I got it right there. Get the Okay, go back here. There's Richard. Switch that around. Yes. Okay. Um, okay. I had that backwards. It is the midheaven, and it is conjunct Vesta. So, well, still the foundation is good stuff at home. You have, let's see here, for your show. Okay, there's a lot of activity, a lot of beauty, and a lot of communication for you. We have, because your ascendant is in the first house of Capricorn, and we have Venus, the goddess of beauty, the goddess of money, Hello, we got to say that because she's part of the flow of money, and they're within a few degrees of each other. We also have Mars and Mercury, which are in a degree of each other in Capricorn. Oh, this is work, by the way. Are in your first house, and they're pretty close. Now, all this says to me, this is a great time for you to start a show. This is a fabulous time to do something where you're pushing your agenda forward. You get positive, beneficial feedback, and it's all about because we have in the next house of Aquarius, we have the sun, which is your second house, and so that's money. There are people coming in wanting to give you. They want to support you. There are people who really want to support you, and they want to help you change something. We're looking at your Jupiter. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Wow, it's just really good. Okay, there are a lot of things, and individually, I don't know that I could. I'll have Cyprian talk to you on this, but there are a lot of interesting things that are brewing, and these are things that you have set up. Okay, these are not accidental. When we see it in your personal chart, in your personal signs, that's the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth. Then these are things that you are meant to do, and it's interesting now that there's a lot of stuff going on foundationally for you. There's a lot of, I see your fifth house, which I like to look at, is your house of family, money, hobbies, not money, family, hobbies, children, and we have Jupiter and we have Uranus. So there's abundant change, and let's see what else. Sorry, I kind of geek out on some of these things. So you're going to have you're probably already seeing these and experiencing these things because this is happening right now. These are really fun. Yeah, there's a lot of fun involved, and actually there's a lot of it is entertainment, but entertainment is work. Entertainment is a business. However, I'm seeing that there's a lot of fun involved in it for you. A lot of joy that comes from it. I wonder how long this goes. Let's see here. Yeah, it's going to be for a while. That's interesting. Wow. Okay. Without saying one more time, I'm going to. I see it. Yeah, I know. It's true. I've seen these wonderful things, and sometimes when I'll talk to Kassir, I'll just pull up yours, and I'll pull up hers, and I'll pull up other people, and it's like, wow, this is really good. And it's 11 o'clock my time, so I'm not going to send you a text because that'll be one in the morning for you. That's a little bit awkward, I think. Here's the thing: we were going through some tough times. We're going through we went through some cleaning out of the old, some reflexing. We really have to have a clean mirror and clean glasses when we look at ourselves. Mm-hmm. This is what we've all been going through. We've all been seeing it, and we'll continue to see it. We're in an election year. We're in the year of the wood dragon, which portends to luck. It depends on, of course, your sign. We're in a number 8 year, which is all about numerologic. I think you wanted to bring something up numerologically, but numerologically, that's the enterprising entrepreneur. I like to look at the figure 8 as of course, it's the infinity side,
which I'm wearing. I'm wearing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Well, your personal year number is your birthday added with the current year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So add that up.
Yeah. So globally, we have this expansion. We have new things. We have a lot of awareness. We're moving and grooving, and some of it will start to move very fast. So we can jump on the train and take our time. We may have to run to jump on the train just so that we can take our time once we get on the train. But we probably want to plan to get on. This is here for us.
So my personal year number this year is 7, which is my path number at birth,
Hmm.
which is kind of what we considered the spiritual number. It's a spiritual lifetime. So I find it interesting that this year for me is a 7, and I'm going to be helping people let things go.
Yeah, there it
For
is.
me, it's a spiritual exercise.
Mhm.
Yeah, there it is.
Waking up and and also when we let things go and we give things to other people, um, and it makes them, they react with happiness. That's good juju.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's good stuff right there. Making other people happy with something that we have, that we've loved, and now all my stuff has good energy on it. I'm not gonna lie. And so when I give my friend, if I know a friend of mine likes, I have given my friends so much stuff that they just loved, I think even more than I did, and I give it to them. I'm like, here, have it, take it. You obviously love it more than I do. Um,
yeah.
and
So
I'm very happy about my Carol Channing poster I'm going to receive at some point.
It's got your name all over it.
It
yeah,
really does. I looked for, one of those graphics on Canvas online. I found one that I don't really like it. And I'm just very excited about it. Weren't you going to say something, Aaron, about Pluto?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to reflect on it with Cyprian. Pluto is making major aspects right now. It's moving into Aquarius. It has been in Capricorn for a long time. Now, Pluto moves around the sun. It takes 248 years. Okay, so when it does a move, it's a big move. Pluto is the planet that represents the deep. It represents not water. It represents any resources that are underground. Okay, anything a seed grows from underground and sprouts. So that would be in a Plutonian kind of environment, and then it sprouts because it captures the nutrient from the soil. We have any minerals, we have minerals, metals, all that kind of stuff is represented by Pluto. The riches from from underground are represented by Pluto. So Pluto's moving into Aquarius, and Aquarius is the people. So the people are going to, and I also like to look at the depth of the our own riches that are going to be exposed for the world, our own treasures that will be exposed, that we have the opportunity to expose. Now it'll move up into it's moved into Aquarius, and then it'll dip back down into Capricorn towards the end of the year, and then come out, and it'll be for the next 248 years in Aquarius. So Pluto's a big mover. Now, when Pluto started making this bounce, we saw the ground bouncing. In fact, here in California, until I think today it went off, there was an earthquake alert. There were, like, how we have tsunami alerts when there's an earthquake, or when we have storm alerts in it. Well, I was surprised to see in the news earthquake alerts, and they're all represented. They're all corresponding to the sun, to the sunspots and sunspot activity, which is reaching a zenith here pretty soon. So science is starting to catch up now. They're seeing that the sunspot activity correlates with Earth movement, and so we had this unusual earthquake alert, and we had some small ones. There have been some big ones around the world, but we had a bunch of small ones throughout California, 4.0 and above, different areas. And in fact, it's funny because Cyprian was looking at my Aquarius moon, and he found some reference to a past life where Aquarius moons were more than likely involved in a death related to an earthquake in a previous life. And I thought, no, that's interesting, because I was born in California, and whenever I move away, there's a big earthquake. When I move back, there are no earthquakes. When I move away, there's a big earthquake. When I move back, there are no more earthquakes. And I thought, I wonder if holding a type of energy in an area and I know this, you know, is I'm hearing this more and more. You know, when we're in an area, we're not just giving the people energy or situations, we're also giving the earth energy. And I thought, well, I wonder if I'm supposed to be in California to keep it from falling in.
Well, Aaron, my thought is that you make the earth move.
Oh,
I feel the earth.
Well, believe it or not, we are at the end of our show, and I'm just wondering.
You didn't get through the rest of Cyprian's statement.
I know, but I want to. That's why. But before Cyprian, before we sign off, if any of you have a final statement that you want to say before we sign off, and I'll start with you, Cyprian, since you're the one that keeps coming and going.
I apologize. It's not a internet issue. It's like a laptop issue that's just like suddenly discovered. So that'll resolve itself like sometime after. But anyway, to like continue where I left off. The new moon next new month is going to be in Aquarius 2 weeks from now, which is Leo's opposite. And the Aquarian archetype is about equality, treating everybody like equal, non-judgment, and it's like looking only at other people's lives like unfolding to have everybody connect, but then to look at our own lives unfold before our eyes when we take a step back and detach to really really get a clear understanding and awareness of like how we're interacting throughout our own personal path as well. And I pulled a card, and I pulled it from the Beyond Lemuria deck. It's called the High Heart Chakra, and it's highlighted as ecstatic bliss. And the keywords for it, well, speaking of the heart, Leo rules the heart. So the keywords is divine love, selflessness, spiritual compassion, oneness through heart-centered bliss, healing, gratitude, giving love, dharma, patience, and joy. And it makes sense and connects to like all that we just discussed in this podcast as well.
beautiful.
So yes. So this is like pretty much a line, if you could see. How cool it is.
Pretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
The creator is an artist, and she's been through her journeys overseas and connecting with nature. So it's like aligning nature with the cosmos and everything eclectic, Aquarian themed. So this is like a placement where a lot of thieves have been planted, even based on just one big seed that just flourished into something that's like beyond and above, and expanded into this one big asymmetrical figure.
Mm-hmm.
It represents like a portal, a vortex, things that like allow us to like experience and to travel through other dimensions. Like it's just like it's open already because we already have the keys in our hands to unlock what's needed, so that way we could just like transform and be part of this like ongoing shift on this level too. So for every like ending though, there's always going to be a new beginning for the best. Yeah.
Okay.
So I align like limitless space and limitless time, and it's just like so be, and we're all one, and we're one with everything. And I'll leave it at that.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Can I go next? And I pulled a card for the whole, like anybody who's watching. And that'll be my sign off. Okay. It was the Ready, Set, Go card.
Oh. Yep.
A mermaid riding an orca.
I love it.
Beautiful.
And it says, now is the perfect moment to dive in and embrace your heart's desire.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. Thank you.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Aaron?
And I will say, live our highest timeline by our own choice. I get to choose my highest timeline in every single situation with whomever I speak to. And whatever comes out when I'm connected to that is the blessing for all of us involved.
That's great. And we'll be back here on the 25th of next month, everyone?
Yes.
Great. Have a great month, and I will see you later. And I'll be just a little bit older. Okay. I'll see you all. Love you all. Thank you.
Okay.
Everybody.